Welcome to Young Warriors of Koguryo every week. What is this? And who are you?
Well, I go by many names. I've been Eggen Pro, Film Cut, Adrian, name cucked by the laws of aerodynamics. We are watching a North Korean anime, of all things.
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting the name of.
Yeah, it's Young Warriors of Koguryo. I always want to call it Kings of Koguryo for some reason. It's a weird show. And I think the people who made this show, I think they watched like Bambi and all this furry stuff because
they definitely.
There's a striking resemblance with how they use animals in this show specifically. But the problem here is that we can't actually tell what they're saying, so we have no idea what's going on here.
Yeah, this is not subtitled.
Actually, we tried to do the OP for this show to get it subtitled. What happened with that?
Like asking the people who are translating it if there was an estimated time, and they just said that we are trying to get it done as fast as we can. And it's currently twice the amount they said be. It is on the way, but it's far away, I think.
Is it the dialect that they're having a problem with?
Yeah, I'm gonna haven't asked for the specifics yet, because they just had the category Korean when we sent in the audio file. They might not be full-fledged North Korean translating people.
Which, that's the thing about a lot of these North Korean shows, is that the dialect is going to be a little bit harder for people who speak Korean, because I assume, since North and South Korea have such different cultures, and they're sort of separated very heavily, that the North Korean culture will become more incestuous because that's all they have to feed off one another besides shows that have been smuggled over. And South Korea has cultures from all over the place, so they're basically part of the United States at this point.
That's really why this anime is so interesting, because it comes from this completely isolated culture.
And I'd imagine it has altered history and things like that in there.
Hopefully we will know one day. That being said, what do you think the story is so far for this first episode?
My interpretation was this guy, he's really likable, and animals like him, and everybody likes him, and they're going to war, basically. That's what it seems like. It seems like they're going to war. I have no idea what's going on in this show.
A very simplistic story, actually, so far. There is extremely likable Fist of the North Star-esque guy. He found the messenger of the king or something. He met up with the king and are gonna fight for him. Maybe.
It looked like he basically went to South Korea's equivalent of the Blue House, if you know what that is.
No.
Oh, okay, South Korea has this thing called the Blue House, where it's basically like their version of the White House, but it looks like, an Asian-style building. And, it looks like the guy basically went there and talked to the leader, had some form of argument, and the journey started from there. I feel like this show, even though it's 12 or so episodes, it looks like a grand adventure type story. Even the music that they use in here is very loud and operatic and melodious, where it gets you hyped for an adventure. At the end of the episode, he's on a horse going away. So yeah, he's setting up to go somewhere, and I think this show would be very, again, like you said, like Fist of the North Star, of one of those very likable characters who is just like a cool guy, spreading the truth.
Yeah, and he's basically a god.
North Korean truth.
But yeah, something I want to mention is that, I think it's only 7 episodes.
No, it's 12. It used to only be 7 that they released. What did you think of the animation in the show?
First of all, it's much better than what you would expect.
I think they did some sort of hybrid CGI with hand-drawn The
CGI I did not like, at least for the characters, when they suddenly went from animation to 3D animation. It was jarring and not that good.
I actually thought it looked great. I really love this show's aesthetic.
Yeah, the CGI of it was great, actually.
I don't know, the the CGI, it just looks like something that I find rare in television animation, and probably because this show was made in North Korea, but it sort of has a production quality that feels kind of like the mid-2000s, and I really, really like that about it because I'm a big fan of the sort of grungy type CGI look. Yeah, I thought it looked cool. Also, this show is in 4:3, despite it being made fairly recently.
Yes. Do we know how recently?
I don't know the year specifically. I'm gonna look that up actually. Well, I think one of the things about North Korean TV is that they still use like a lot older TVs than we use, from my understanding.
Yeah, from what little I've seen, it is correct. And also, yeah, I did some research about this, and I found out that the story is taking place before Korea split up, North or South Korea yet. They're just Korea.
Yeah, of course they would probably want that for political reasons. Let's see. This it says that this show aired on the one and only TV station that they have, and it's usually where they show all the propaganda. But it doesn't say when it was made specifically. When it was leaked, I can go through YouTube, I can go through the archive, and we'll
Okay.
this was uploaded.
But yeah, that brings up something I feel like is the most interesting point about this show. Is that by the looks of it, from what little we can gather, it doesn't seem to be propaganda-driven show.
Yeah, like it looks like it has a lot of heart in it, actually.
What I mean is be some historical changes, or it's just all the characters from North Korea and they gonna crush us out. But what I mean is that it seems to just be a personal adventure story. Like the propaganda is just a backdrop of this hero's journey he's gonna take.
And I think that's probably one of the best things about the show, from what I can gather, is that yes, it is a propaganda thing, and that is kind of interesting in itself because it tells us about the country. But I think these artists, I think they legitimately had fun, with what they were doing. I think they did care about this project, or else the character wouldn't have been so likable. There wouldn't be all these cute animation moments where the character's kind of expressive. Like, there are some pretty expressive moments in the episodes, like that part where the horse is like backing up into the guy, and he and the hero are just sort of horsing around with each other. That's sort of an expression of two people just sort of having fun. And I don't know, I don't think you would see moments like that in a show that was just strictly propaganda. That's more of a human element to come up with something like, like horsing around, things like that. So
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this was more of a passion project. There's allusion to Bambi and stuff like that in here. These were, I think these were animation fans who made this show.
Yeah, definitely, because I saw a lot of moments where they just went the extra miles and did some extra stuff you wouldn't have to do in an animation production. Like, main thing that stuck out for the horse and wants to warn him, he just runs so fast, he stops and then falls on his back before getting up again, telling the horse that he's gonna die or something. They are animation fan, but we are calling this anime, but I think they're mostly Western influenced, actually.
Yeah. They're like I said, there's a lot of stuff from like Disney and things like that in there.
Straight up Disney. Like the Bambi thing, it's straight up Bambi. It's not even like a copyright safe version of him. It's just Bambi. I just think that's great.
It's really cool. And of course they can make all this stuff because it's an isolated country. We weren't supposed to see this.
I'm hoping you'll see more like iconic Western icons in the show.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to watch the rest of this, even though I can't tell what they're saying.
Me too. It's gonna be fun, and also with the action scenes. And that's why I called him this kind of Fist of North Star type of guy because he have godly powers when it comes to fighting.
I don't remember too much from the action scenes other than they were actually really well animated for what they were.
Like, the thing with the action scenes is they are lacking in-betweens. They are mostly just extreme poses, but they are well choreographed and surprisingly imaginative. Because I don't understand if you don't remember this, but do you remember when they started throwing out wood? Like, just sticks at each other?
Yeah.
That was fantastic. I was so weird. I can't quite remember it myself, but it was this like weird wood tossing and taking up each other.
That was pretty cool. And again, we're sort of just scratching at the surface here because we can't talk about the actual plot of the show. We're like, oh man, this looks cool right here. This can or is an inventive idea right here. What do you think this is? It's just fandom. It's just complete fandom to watch something like this without having the actual knowing what it's saying.
That's a shame, especially during the exposition scenes.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, and I did notice the camera work. These people, they like George Lucas. They just want to have all the work in the action scenes. So in the dialogue, they're just the most plain, flat directing there is. There's shot, reverse shot, shot, reverse shot, shot, reverse shot. Then we get to action where they are zoom, blurring, some weird camera techniques, 3D panning, all that fun stuff.
Main character I consider actual husbando material.
I will agree, but I think the dog is my favorite character.
So the dog is your husbando.
Yeah, or isn't a female? I think it's a waifu. That dog.
Yeah, this is now a furry cast.
No, it's not even because that. The reason is, I think there was like a designated animator for the dog, and he just really, the dog was by far the most expressive animation-wise in the group.
I agree. That did look really cool.
So I think there was just one guy or like two guys who did just really likes dogs.
Like how Sagiri had her own animator, and like the guy who animated her was just really into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, more Japanese influence. Young Warriors of Koguryo confirmed Arrow manga sensei influence.
Yeah, it's the best anime inspired the best country.
I wonder, I gotta wonder, have North Koreans watched Arrow manga sensei? Like, has that been smuggled into the country?
I hope not. By all the cultural stuff they could be getting. Is Arrow manga even out in physical media yet?
Yeah, it probably is in Japan. I don't doubt it is in Japan, like the way they release Blu-rays over there. But I don't know about the West. I don't know if you can put something like that in physical on the West. I
have one critique for the visuals though. The lip
what's
syncing.
That? Yeah, I don't know the language, so I can't really critique it myself.
You can hear when it's ooh, you can hear what the shape of the mouth will be most of the times. They're not really trying too much there, but I think it's an effort to differentiate between anime and this, so they at least try giving it lip sync, like not just the open and close, but they actually have like the mouth changing into all the different sounds they have, and they at least tried. It didn't work at all, but they tried. Damn it!
I don't know. It didn't really bother me personally, but that brings me into a good question here. Like, how much about the Korean language do you know?
I know, like, Japanese characters, and I don't know which one overlaps to Korean.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I don't know, like, I feel like you know a lot more about that language than me.
I Googled like one's difference between North Korean and South Korean language. That's about it.
That's one of my goals, is to learn Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. You know, all of the hardest languages in the world. I'm gonna take those three on, but not after I learn German. I'm learning German first, and French.
Yeah, I'm currently trying Japanese, and I'm failing.
Yeah. Japanese is very hard as a native English speaker, but I'm sure it's even more hard as a native Norwegian speaker. I don't know the name of the language.
Norwegian?
Yeah.
It's not it's the same difficulty. It might sound like I struggle with English, but it's just I struggle with pronunciate it. It isn't really that hard.
Yeah. I think I'll probably be pretty easy when I learned German because like German uses all the same letters that English does, so it's like, yeah, this isn't hard at all.
Even like shares a couple words and grammar.
Oh yeah, there's like almost complete or not complete sentences, but like complete phrases that only have like a little bit changed around in German that just use English loan words. So it's like, yeah, this is cool. If I did it like 8 hours a day, I would reach intermediate level in 3 months. So I'm gonna do that over summer. And then after I reach intermediate, I'm just gonna keep learning more German until I'm like at fluent level, and then I'm gonna take on the next beast, learn French.
Well, good luck with that.
Yep, then it's time for Japanese, and that is going to be very hard. But I think after I've grown the confidence from learning 2 languages, it's Japanese, and then after I know enough Japanese, I have the fundamentals of an Asian language to learn Korean, and I can subtitle this anime if it hasn't been subbed by that point.
Yeah, in many years.
Yes, many, many years, 15 years down the line of learning languages.
It will happen. It will be worth it. And then when we finally subtitle it, we found out it's shit. That is the
Yep.
best. I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna do a sequel podcast on each episode by the time it's subbed, and then it's just us in vitriolic rage. I'm 40 years old and I waited for this show and it's terrible. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. There's an important issue. Can we talk about how gay that like friend scene was?
Oh yeah. I was pretty into that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, but it looks gave the guy a whip and then he lay down and it looks like it first looked like he wanted to be like taken in the ass, but then he wanted like be whipped. Is it like a like massage?
Yeah, like I said, I'm into that.
Yeah, but like, because it was a whole joke that the horse tail did it instead, and he's like, "Yeah, give it to me." So,
yeah, we're North Korean heritage right here. Confirmed they have LGBT rights over there. It's not so much of a bad country after all. Maoist rebel news was right all along.
it's the best.
Yep.
But it was just the way it was framed. Like he gave it a whip and okay, do me, and I lay down on a stone, and it's like cut out. So it just really looked like he was about to be rammed.
Yep. Then I that was pretty hilarious. That was great. But like I said, that the main character is very cute. So we need to get doujinshi made of this. Is what I'm saying.
Hey, I'm the artist in the group here.
Oh yeah.
Let's get it done. Yeah, but actually, I'm more interested in having this scene translated than the actual story because I just want to know the context. Is this like the gayest thing ever, or is it like a cultural thing?
I don't like. It's interesting to think about how different cultures sort of have fun and work around. Because in the scene earlier, I thought were particularly charming, and not for just the obvious sexual reasons. Like I don't know. Like I thought it just seemed kind of adorable. Like, oh man, these two are having fun. It's cool.
Yeah.
And I don't like all cultures horse around in one sense or another. But the way
and in North Korea they just whip each other.
Yeah. I want to know the specific context behind this because I think it would say a bit about the culture itself.
You know, I have a theory. What if this is the state trying to condition the people whipping? Like they're gonna when they gave out.
Jesus Christ.
You're about to be whipped, boy, and he's like, yes, I want this. Give it to me.
Oh boy. This Maoist rebel news guy is an actual supporter of North North Korea. This is real.
We need to get him on this podcast.
Yes, we do. Maybe we can get him for the last episode, and have him justify the show to us, why it's like the best show ever made.
Yeah, but will that work if we start thinking that? Like, this is the first episode. We don't know where this is going. It can't be the best thing ever.
I was talking about in his opinion, but like, yeah, it might be. Like, it might be because I'm interested in where this is gonna go. I really am. And it could be like one of my favorite shows because there's a lot of stuff that is to my taste here.
Let's go down the list. We have a ensemble expressive cast, like a big one. I think there's like 4 main characters. The friend is not gonna die soon. We have fun, inventive action scenes with a lot of kinetic animation in it. We have a grand war narrative, it seems like. And we have supernatural fighting and powers. Like when he was like running after I think there was a mentor or something on horse, he was just cutting down trees, like from the stump, just cutting it down. It was so cool.
Yeah, that scene was really, really good. And if it continues on like this, it could be like a legitimately great show. So yeah, hashtag Max Max revive Young Warriors of Koguryo. Make it happen.
Yeah, we will kill ourselves. You know what? Food protest. We don't eat until this is subbed.
Yes, that's perfect. Especially given the context of the country where it's made.
Yeah, in the spirit of the grand North Korean people. Well, yeah, there was one story beat I was kind of confused on.
Oh, which part?
Okay, you know when the second messenger group were like the river with a hard stream?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, how could the guy chasing them be on the other side of the river, helping them over?
I don't know. I gotta watch back the footage again.
No, but I did. Okay, the main character was following them, cutting down trees and everything. And then there was a river too hard to cross for the horses. So he this rope for them to reel them in. It was him. It was the main character following them, being on the other side of this impossible to cross river for horses.
I don't know. That's really weird.
Yeah.
But like by this point, I don't even care if the show breaks my suspension of disbelief because it's just fun.
I think the mentor said that he shouldn't follow, and then he tried to kill him. Like, oh, you dishonored me, and then comes a sweet action scene with throwing out trees.
Yeah, I'm surprised by like the amount of violence that they got through in this episode for a kids show.
Is it a kid show? I mean, they do bleed and they do die.
Yeah, it's based on the information I can find on forums and on my anime list. It was meant to air for children.
Ah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that makes this very violent. What did you think about the cliffhanger? Wolf woman, as I wrote down.
There was a cliffhanger at the end?
Not a cliffhanger, but it's kind of like alluding to what's to come. Like this assassin dressed as a wolf.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, since there's no subtitles for it, I don't actually know what's going on. So I think you're more in the loop than me here.
Yeah, either the opposition, like the people they're gonna go to war with, or it's like this rebel group that just want to make everyone fight.
I don't know. I think in episode 2 they'll probably have more stuff about that.
Yeah, this is most likely like character introduction, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not much story yet.
Yeah, character introduction is almost useless when you can't tell what they're saying.
Hey, we know he's a pretty sweet fighter, and he has some ancient magical fighting stuff. If I'm guessing right, because they had like this old paintings on the cave he lived in. Because yeah, he lived in a cave and just are friends with animals. This guy is like Snow White if she was Fist of the North Star.
It's just like this crazy fighting guy who everybody loves. Snow White is just friends with animals and everyone loves her too. So like they're kind of similar traits. It's just I mean, like even Kin from that show is is kind of like Snow White in a way. It's a big correlation. It's just generally like nice traits.
Yeah, but it's the whole like killing thing brutally part of the character.
I don't think Snow White would have done that in her story because she's a princess.
No, she can kick ass. Didn't you see Shrek 4? I think it was.
That was a terrible
No, the third.
movie.
Yeah. No, Shrek the third. But yeah, that princess scene was great though.
Yeah. I didn't like Shrek the Third at all. I thought I like Shrek
No one
2
did.
is one of my favorite movies ever, but Shrek the Third is just bad.
Yeah, I think everyone agrees on that. At least most people.
And Shrek 4 was just me wondering why are we even here? Why why does this exist?
Yeah, it was okay.
I don't even think it was okay. I think it was just terrible.
Yeah, I think
It
the
was
start
so
was
boring.
terrible, but it got like better by the time. Like,
Yeah, it had some good moments.
I think I exhausted everything I have here. There.
I
Oh
do
yeah,
think
even. Oh, I want to say, for animation, even though they are, this is draw something once and they then move it about, but they are very much willing to change poses and redraw a lot of the different parts of the bodies and puppets they have, and
yeah.
that's real. Like American shows doesn't even do that all the time.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of effort put into this show, and it's literally just a propaganda, or it was supposed to be a propaganda cartoon, but like the creators who made this very clearly care about their craft. And I think that
Yeah.
sort of comes through in like the main characters the facial movements and sort of his mannerisms, because even though we can't tell what they're saying because it's in Korean, um, I feel like the way they animate each character and the animals especially, it does say a lot about their personalities.
I want to say I do think that all the like shortcomings of this animation is not because of the people or budget, but seems to be more the lack of proper that production issues come from this small non-existent industry, Korean
Yeah.
animation.
I mean, the
Because
show was funded by the government, so they can just do whatever they want, basically, as long as it, has like a set of, okay, you got to do these propaganda things, and then for everything else, you can basically do what you want with whatever money you need.
yeah, I think there's a lack of option because there are like random moments where the characters turn 3D for no reason, and
Yeah.
they all do lag in between sometimes, but they usually have such fun key poses that the lack of in between so much.
Yeah, it would be very interesting to like go inside of a production studio in North Korea and see how they made this. I don't even
Yeah,
know
they're
how these people get trained to do animation, when it's an industry like entirely funded by the government. It's very strange, and that someone should do a documentary on that. I would give them all my money.
There is a small documentary on YouTube, or more like a small part of a program where they discuss a North Korean animation. Don't think I have anything else to say.
Episode 2 should I think it's going to sort of go into the war aspect of the show, and I think that will decide how they handle that part of the plot will decide whether or not it's a just like a propaganda thing, or if it's if it has a passion put into it,
Yeah, but yeah, I
because
do
like
believe it's just the conceit of the show that is propaganda. I don't think the story
yeah
itself will be.
yeah because
Hopefully.
yeah I mean it just depends on how much in the later episodes it gets meddled with. But I think from the foundation of it, there is like some genuine spark of creativity here. So I'm excited to see what it does from here on.
Yeah, me too.